Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Pash On Podcast. Let's get started with your host, Brian Pash.
Hi, this is Brian Pash, and welcome to another exciting interview. As we head to the Modern Retailing Conference, we're interviewing leaders who are bringing new technology, new insights, and new strategies to dealers to be more profitable, more efficient, and better serve their marketplace. On today's call, we got Danny Zaplowski, and he is the co-founder of VINCUE. Danny, welcome to the show.
Thanks, Brian. Good morning.
Let's dive in. You have a very clear mission. Ever since I spoke with you, you are a dealer. You have built software to serve yourself. You've decided to share and grow your impact on automotive retail. So at a very high level, why does VINCUE exist?
VINCUE exists to define vehicle lifecycle management for automotive. We define vehicle lifecycle management as other industries define supply chain management. Automotive hasn't had supply chain management that's really backed by data science to know what we should be buying, where we should be buying it, because the effects are huge. We lower customer acquisition costs, we increase gross, we increase churn. And in today's world of AI and machine learning, it's time that we have a weapon to truly have vehicle lifecycle management end-to-end from point of appraisal to point of sale so that we can unite all the people in the dealership.
You know, when dealers hear that, Danny, some of them are going to say, well, you know, I have this tool that does this piece and this tool that does this piece. You know, I have this one that's giving market pricing. This one's doing inventory syndication. This one that is trying to tell me my sweet spot for the next vehicle to purchase or seek on a trade. And what I've found is that anytime you have 4 or 5 or 6 different pieces of software, there's inefficiencies, there's conflict of interest, there's proprietary data silos, and it ends up being a mess. And since you brought up AI, and we'll get to that later, AI needs access to lots of data to make better, smarter decisions. If data is in 6 different data silos, it's really hard for a dealer to say they're doing vehicle lifecycle management. So your platform, since we've talked about this before, really replaces 5 or 6 tools at a cost savings, but it would be silly to talk about cost savings of software because the bigger picture, right, is helping dealers be more profitable. Let's dive into that. It's not, hey, I could save you $1,000 a month on software course. Of course, why not? Or whatever the number is. But the bigger is how many more hundreds of thousands of dollars of profit could you have realized if you had a true lifecycle management platform? Dive into that for me.
Yeah, so I want to talk about my pain first, because I think the why is more important than the what, because the what keeps evolving, but the why is like the fuel. And I grew up in this business and watched these big corporations innovate through acquisition. They would buy these companies and then they would say, check out what we just got. They would remarket them, and then they would tell you how to use them, and in turn that would create process in your store. And if the software sucked, the process sucked. If the software was good, then the process was good. And I personally had a lot of, I guess, like pride in having like 4 monitors at my desk and 4 different systems to log into. And all of a sudden I felt like a pilot in the left seat of a cockpit. And that was cool for a while until it wasn't, until I began to resent it. Because the way I see a company is like a big arrow that is wanting to go in a direction. And inside are a lot of little arrows, including myself and the people I lead with and the people I work with. And those arrows on the inside also have to be pointed in the direction of the company. If they're all pointed in different directions, the big arrow's not moving. And I see that as mission, vision, but also communication, also process. That is important. So to bring together signals, for example, we have big groups today that are thinking not just right car, right price, meaning how are they going to bid the car that's in front of them, but they're also thinking right car, right lot. Where is that vehicle going to go? If I'm buying at a Mercedes store, does it belong at my Honda store? Things like that. AI, machine learning, a modern system has the ability to see more globally than it does for a single store.
And so when we think about the logistics of a multi-store group, I've only heard stories, right? Because, vehicle lifecycle management is really not something I've studied, but some of the larger, national used car chains have thrived because a vehicle purchased in, Minnesota with a convertible top isn't going to move very well. And they're like, hey, but my store here in Florida could use that. Meaning vehicle logistics, understanding market demand in other markets. I mean, it's quite complicated, but, with a lot of the consolidation that's going in automotive, I just think of like in Florida where I live, you have the Mercado Auto Group, right? Started really as a Miami, and then it was a dealership group. And then they went up to Northern Florida. And then out of the blue, it's like, hey, we're buying stores in Chicago. And then out of the blue, we're buying stores in New Jersey. Well, I believe a team in Florida knows how to buy cars in Florida, but now you start diversifying across the country, man, you need some smarter tools. Danny, if you were talking to a used car manager, new car manager, the general manager of a store, what's one thing you hear the most from your customers when they move from 4 other systems to your VinCue platform? What's probably the number one thing you hear over and over again to the value that you're bringing to their enterprise?
It is, it's genuinely profitability, but that profitability comes from, look, when we're appraising a vehicle in, call it a legacy system, that legacy system will appraise in a way that really creates a race to the bottom from the very start, because you go immediately into the VIN number, odometer, and then you're immediately at price rank, V rank, cost to market, price to market, and you don't really have the control to look at your comp set with build data, to look at your comp set with geography in the way that a modern solution should. You're not looking at the end result. The exit strategy today in legacy systems doesn't take into account what a group might do with that vehicle. So in our system, when we're starting to bring in OEM build data, when we're starting to bring in not in just your sales, but market demand data for either your geography or another geography, if that vehicle is going to do better, when we bring in competitor data, what are other dealers doing to win? And if I acquired that vehicle, could I capture the market share? When we bring in audience from your CRM, because we know leads are constantly coming in, but what happens to the leads that we don't get to sell a car to? We need to be able to use that information in an AI machine learning environment to be able to understand how does that work for acquisition? And then where should I be buying those cars and what should I be paying? My sister is 28 years old. I'm 41 years old. And if she were to be going into automotive today, I will tell you, she wouldn't want to work on those legacy systems because it's not a modern way of managing a dealership. So when we bring that together, now we can empower people that don't have 20 years of experience to behave like they do have 20 years of experience, right?
Right.
We've seen that with obviously ChatGPT being able to do things to really improve the results, and we're doing the same thing in our system.
Danny, when I've spoken with you, you're very kind to the people who have come before you, meaning that you don't put other software products down, and I respect that. But it's true, and I can say this, that a lot of products have been built on tech stacks that are aging, whether they're 5 years old, 10 years old, some maybe even 20 years old. There is a need for innovation, integration, and it's very difficult when some of these larger automotive software companies are buying different products, trying to integrate them. I won't use specific examples, but I've seen acquisitions take 5-7 years to get some basic functionality together. But what I believe is that maybe for dealers who are listening to us and say, look, this sounds great, end-to-end lifecycle management from appraisal, marketing, demand, logistics, all in one tool to maximize my profitability. But they may not know what tools they could replace. For an average dealer, we said maybe 4 or 5 different tools. If someone pushed all in with the VinCue platform, can you just name what those tools would be? Like what could that they would be paying like individually for? Because I really want to make sure people understand how broad this platform is.
Yeah, I appreciate that. So there's a couple ways to think about it. So we've built this company with really strong integration partners, and I want to speak to those integration partners here in a second. But our core competency, we call vehicle lifecycle management. It's broken up into 4 sections: plan, buy, manage, sell. So planning is all the market analytics that you're doing to make decisions, strategy. Buying is the appraisal. So we're replacing any appraisal system that they have. Also, buying is any acquisition system that they have, whether through auction or private party or through a dealer network, because all of that exists in our system. Managing is everything that you do once you have the asset. Now, how are we going to market it? So any merchandising systems, syndication systems, we are replacing, because all of that happens in our system. Also, any new car systems, because new car pricing, new car incentive management, pricing rules, syndication, marketing, all that happens centrally in our system. And then selling is the weapons that we have either to empower our sales team or our consumer to make a confident decision on a buy or a sell. So any trade tools that you have on your website, those are replaced by us, because the other thing we learned is the trade tools that exist out in the market today provide their number, and their number isn't always your number. So we want the system to get smarter and know the appetite a particular dealer has and offer based on that. So if the dealer wants it more, the system can be more aggressive. If the dealer doesn't do well with it, the dealer can be more conservative. And all those things do one thing: create a better customer experience and obviously conversion. And then from there, we move into integration. So do you mind if I share one of those?
Yeah, absolutely.
So here's an example. I think communication is key. I don't personally like silos. And in a car dealership, there's an opportunity for contention between variable and fixed, right? At my own store, at times I felt like fixed had an open checkbook. And I was like, I grew up on the 3 C's: complaint, cost, correction. When I would appraise a car, I'd complain about it. And then service would say, I see you on this, I raise you on this. And I'm like, we're not playing poker. I just need the car. Don't dote erode my gross. The other thing we learned is my appraised recon was different than my actual recon. And that was an area where we were losing PVR.
Yep.
So we just did a single sign-on integration that we announced at Unleashed, where with Rapid Recon, now variable can appraise vehicles in our system and communicate directly to fixed with numbers that are coming from fixed, so we can be more informed about the actual repair. And when we're thinking about like what's the goal? One of my goals at my store is when we're appraising a car and we're putting the ACV and the price and the price to market and so forth, I want to get that as close to my actual exit as possible. Because normally what I see is somebody assumes a $3,500 profit in a certain position, but by the time recon hits and market adjustment hits and all these other things, that is a big delta. They're going from a $3,500 profit to a $1,500 front-end profit. But communication can solve that. Modern technology can solve that. And so we can regain that profitability. So we're really proud of the Rapid Recon integration, because now you can approve and decline work in our system. You can manage a vehicle's position in its life cycle, obviously measure days to market and then days to sell, and solve contention between variable and fixed. We did not choose to go build a reconditioning tool.
Smart.
Why? Because it's more noise. These guys have already figured it out, and they're making it better. So strong integration.
And Danny, this is great leadership, because some great platforms have gotten, I don't know, really bogged down as like, we can build everything. And I'm really glad that you're trying to stay in your lane. One of the other announcements you just made at your annual user group event, and I'm really excited that I'm seeing this growth, was backed offers.
Yes.
You know, for years, right? It was the KBB, you know, instant cash offer, and they kind of innovated that, and some dealers loved it, some dealers didn't. You're taking this up a notch because as well known as KBB is, maybe to people with gray hair, I'm not sure if it is as say brand aware with younger people. So tell me a little bit about the backed offers now through another integration partnership that you just announced.
Yeah, so here's the intention. The intention is to have the ultimate ability to decide what's the best exit strategy in a modern marketplace. So my dealership is across the street from a CarMax, and for years I thought I was competing with them in the sense that we would sell some of the same cars, but also customers would come over and want to sell me their car, and I would find out that they were getting an offer from CarMax as well. And obviously, if I can beat that offer, then I would get the car. Well, we've been working for about a year with the CarMax team, and I'll tell you, they're quite innovative. And the thing that spoke the loudest to me is they genuinely want to do the right thing. So this integration now offers our dealers the ability on any car, whether it's a car that you're appraising or it's a car that you own, to get a live backed offer from CarMax, number one. Number two, it's the same number a consumer would get online or in person. Okay. Number three, if that consumer has been there recently, then we will tell you when they were there and what they were offered. Provides a pretty cool competitive advantage.
Wow.
Yep.
Love that.
Number four, no fees on transportation. So you can buy as many as you want and they will come get them, no cost. Also, no arbitration. Again, in the spirit of doing the right thing, we've built in our system in an efficient way. When you do an appraisal on the car, you can choose to get that backed offer. And so they already see the vehicle. And really, no different than when I was wholesaling when I was younger. If you lie, if you have bad behavior, you're going to lose that relationship. And so CarMax sees it the same way. And so we think this is really, really cool. In many ways, it market extends so that now you have another exit strategy with pure confidence. And in our system, it's also user-based. Obviously, not everybody gets the ability to do this, but if you have a person or several people in the store that want to be able to have that knowledge, then they can have it in under 30 seconds.
Wow. You know, talking about integration and really focusing on your core competencies where you're bringing innovation, another piece of the vehicle lifecycle management is vehicles coming into service. Dealers more and more are looking to purchase cars directly from consumers, are looking to save money at auction. And yet there's other platforms like Auto Alert, right, that have a tangential goal, right, to help dealers put offers on vehicles in the service drive. And here's another announcement that you just made on how VINCUE and Auto Alert are working together. I'm pretty sure most dealers know Auto Alert. How is this partnership working to bring innovation to joint customers?
So when we sell a car, we've earned that customer. And the company that I look up to most in this, I call it trade cycle management, is Apple. Apple just released a new iPhone, and I don't even need a new iPhone, but I'm probably going to be thinking about getting one. And because they make it very appealing and they make it very easy. And trade cycle management, part of that is really empowering people in fixed to make easy and live offers to consumers that are educated, that give both the fixed professional and the consumer a reason to either sell their car or exchange their car. And so with Auto Alert, we now have brought in those signals into our system so we can bring in ROs that are coming in live. We can bring in equity mining right into the system. So if you think about like, what does a CRM do? A CRM matches consumers to assets. Our system does the opposite. It matches assets to consumers. So now at point of RO or even in variable, our appraisals can tell you, has that customer been there before? Have you appraised the car before? Have you owned the car before? And what's the equity position and what's the best possible exit for them so that you can move them to another used car or a new car?
Smart. Well, in the CXO network, this is a group that I collaborate with, or larger dealer groups, 10 or more stores. Everyone's saying the same thing. It's harder out there. Advertising costs are going up. Dealers want to buy more cars. Used car supply demand is still out of normal bounds, and they're really struggling. They're really struggling to find, hey, what's a new way to accelerate trades, new way to accelerate upgrades, a new way to move inventory. And maybe this is the perfect storm. The life cycle management for vehicles is a comprehensive way of looking at the core products that we sell using a similar framework that's used outside of automotive and now with AI. Let's wrap up this conversation on one example on how you believe AI is going to be helping dealers on your platform. Because, when you open up the AI genie, there's 100 possible thoughts, but I know you've been testing. You have tremendous amounts of data that these learning models can ingest and process. What's one thing that you think in 2025 VINCUE users will be coming back to you and say, hey, now I get this AI because it's helping me do what?
Signal. Signals are incredibly important. Signals have been tied up in reporting for as long as I've been alive and you've been alive. And we have to go to reporting to get those signals to do something with them. But when you can bring all that data into a data lake and attach machine learning and AI to it, now all of a sudden you can expose those signals in any part of that vehicle lifecycle process. So we can signal what a vehicle should be priced with far more data back than my eyes can read across a screen. We can signal what an appraisal should be. We can signal what merchandising should be. And obviously you don't want the AI that's doing your background removals, doing your pricing. Those are the different AIs, right? No different than different disciplines within a dealership. So we have started bringing in all of these different disciplines into our system. So today, obviously we have background removal, we have build data backed AI description writing happening in our system. We have signals beginning to be exposed. And as users become more and more comfortable, they can begin to lean into the system driving some of those efficiencies so that we can spend more time being excellent retailers and creating incredible customer experiences.
Right. Well, Danny, thanks so much for your time. I'm really glad that over the last few months, we've gotten to know each other. Gray Scott introduced us and connected us. You were on the Automotive Innovator Store. And now as we look forward to the Modern Retailing Conference, everything that you shared with us today is focused on modern retailing, reimagining what retail could be through a vehicle lifecycle management platform, reimagining what profitability would look like if signals were exposed and easily digested and acted upon, reimagining what marketing could look like and vehicle disposition if we have a clear picture on what the outcome that we want from each transaction up front. This is really a refreshing thought at a time where dealers need to rethink their retail operations. The headwinds are still there. Supply and demand is still out of whack. And well, dealers are leaning on the future and AI to hopefully deliver some of those solutions to fill the gaps in their retail process to improve profitability. And that's why dealers listening, I want to encourage you, please get your tickets to the Modern Retailing Conference, November 17, 18, 19th in Palm Beach. It's at the beautiful O Hotel. The weather in Palm Beach is beautiful, and this is a jam-packed, it's 2.5 days. It's Sunday, Monday, half day Tuesday. This is the place where the top leaders from dealer groups and technology companies and pioneers get together to share what their vision of the future of modern retailing is. Danny's going to be there, and really other people that I truly respect that are leaning in and trying to do more. So get to modernretailingconference.com. I'm just going to warn you, this is not a hard sell. The conference sells out every year, and so does the hotel. So please get your tickets booked immediately. Danny, if dealers who are listening today, managers of store, used car managers, new car managers, CEO of dealer groups, if they want to get a demo of this vehicle lifecycle management platform and the vision you have, where's the best place for them to go online to book a demo?
Yeah, please go to VINCUE.com and you can book a demo right there. I'm also living this, so reach out to me directly. I'm on all the social platforms, LinkedIn and so forth. Send me a message, but I'd be excited to really understand what you're doing today and where you see your vision and working to help you get there.
Great. Well, Danny, thanks again. And for everyone listening in, if this is the first time you've been listening to one of my podcasts, you should know that there are dozens of interviews scheduled leading up to the Modern Retailing Conference. So listen to all the conversations when you're in the car, driving between stores, or you want to stay ahead of the curve. Just search for the Brian Pash Podcast and you will see these great conversations. And I look forward to seeing progressive dealers and their teams at the Modern Retailing Conference this November in Palm Beach. But if you can't make it, you better listen to the rest of these interviews and take action yourself, because the automotive industry is going to see a breakout of new technology powered by AI, and you don't want to be left behind. So until next time, have a great day, finish strong, and I'll see you next time on another podcast interview.